We are live. We're back. We're back to building $1 million business. Let's make sure we get all of our channels connected. Only one we need right here is NC. Can we get NC? I think we can get NC today. I think NC is ready. Boom. We're back better than ever. Welcome back, game changers. Welcome back, go-getters. Welcome back, hustlers. Welcome back, mid-level professionals. Welcome back, entrepreneurs. Welcome back, corporate executives. Listen, this is the place to be every single day at noon Central Standard Time. If you're not here, I'm not sure where you are, but this is the place to be. What are we doing? We're building $1 million business, and we're doing it in public, family. As always, I'm your host. I'm Patrick Hart, known as that healthcare guy across social media, social channels. Veteran, spent 6 years in the military, 2 tours overseas, 1 during 9/11, former technology healthcare executive, spent over 15 years in healthcare, rose through the ranks, became a technology executive, and was part of an executive team that spearheaded a growing technology company. We had a successful exit back in 2018. We sold a technology company for $750 million. And I was in the room, and it was life-changing for me. It truly was. It was a life-changing experience. And it taught me something about myself, but it taught me a lot of things about visibility and opportunities, how opportunities are created and how visibility leads to the impact that you're trying to create for yourself, right? And so the thing that frustrated me the most, it was eye-opening to be in that room as an executive for a $750 million technology acquisition. Being in the room was absolutely phenomenal. It was dope. But, I started thinking about all the smart people that wasn't in the room with me while that transaction was unfolding. All the people that helped us get there, but they wasn't in the room. And then their checking and savings, it wasn't the same as mine. So that led me to start my own company back in 2023. And then in 2026, I was like, you know what? Let's not just build a company. Let's build a business and let's do it in public. Because I think knowledge is the game changer. Visibility is one piece of the puzzle, but once you understand not only how somebody does it, but you accept the playbook. I see you, Shane. Thank you. Shanae 777. Thanks for popping in. But once you understand that, it changes everything. So I wanted to build $1 million business in public. So this is what we're doing. I'm Patrick Hart, known as that healthcare guy, and we're building $1 million business. I'm going to say this. We're going to have all of our channels open today. We're going to be streaming across LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, as well as Instagram. So we got all the family in one place. Like always, the chat boxes are open so you can drop your first name, what platform you're streaming from. Even leave a comment. Listen, these episodes are for you. Even though I'm building this business, you're helping me build this business. I'm building that in public, right? So we're in episode 58 today. And today in episode 58, we're going to talk about standards decide everything. Do they or do they not? Maybe they do, maybe they don't. But what does this mean? Because we're at episode 58, that means there's 57 additional episodes that if you're new, you may not have seen before. So there's 2 places you can go and see that. One, I've created a YouTube playlist called Building $1 Million Business. You want to tap into those while they're free. The second place, if you're following me on LinkedIn, underneath the events tab, you can find the other 57 recorded episodes as well. I'll see you, man. Thanks for joining as well. So we're building $1 million business, family. I try to give you the whole playbook, everything. Here's my first big tip for everybody that's first time joining. Own your audience, family. Own your audience. What I mean by that. So it's the biggest tip that I'll probably give you today in addition to my talking points, but own your audience. Why do you want to own your audience? Here's the thing, family. If you're relying on algorithms across social channels to push out your message, to push out your business, to amplify your brand, man, you may be in for a rude awakening because social media is changing, family. It truly is changing. I appreciate the love, Rain. Thanks. And man, appreciate it. Social media is changing, but listen, once you own your audience, hey, Tasha, thanks for joining. Standards do decide everything, and I'm going to get into it. But once you own your audience, family, we're no longer relying on algorithms to push out our message. Here's the thing. If you want to get to your $1 million bag, you can't do it by yourself. You're going to need a true committee like we're building here, right? So that's why I always talk about my newsletter. I'm growing that baby. We got 2 goals this year. One, we're going to build out $1 million this year, 12 calendar months. We kick this thing off January the 11th, 2026. Here it is, April 1st, right? 2026. So we're not even a good 90 days into this thing, and we're already on episode 58. But owning your audience allows you as you pivot, as you move, as you sway, you start to do things, your audience still tap in with you. The message, they still receive the message because you own your audience. So our first goal is $1 million in revenue. The second goal is we're building a 50,000 member ecosystem because we want to own our audience. We want to grow our wealth system together, right? So if you haven't signed up for the newsletter, this is your opportunity to do that. There's floating banners, there's QR codes. You can simply type in newsletter and I'll make sure you personally get your invite as well. But on the inside is where I share a lot of those frameworks. I share a lot of the people that I'm working with behind the scenes, some of the tools, the automations that are in place that's going to help us get to our $1 million bag. All right. So if this is your first time here, thank you for joining. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. I appreciate the love and support, family. We've been rocking. I see you, Nate. Thanks for popping in. We've been building out $1 million business in public, right? And every single episode is designed to give you some insights, some frameworks, some knowledge, some understanding, so you too can copy or duplicate the playbook that I'm putting together. And in episode 58 today, we're talking about standards decide everything. Do they or do they not? Maybe they do. Remember, the chat boxes are open. I'm going to run through my comments. I'm going to run through my notes right here. But tap in whenever you can. I see I got Jenny Kentrell. I see Nay. I see user 357-57142. I see Jay Tay. I see Rain. I see D. Who else I see in here? I see Charles, Joyful Joiner. Everybody. So everybody's in there. I see Mache. Thanks for popping in, family. That's my cousin right there. Come on now. Come on, Mache. I see you in there. I see Tasha in there. And then I see Instagram family in there. We got Lil Giant. Or is that Leant, okay, I see you, family, and then Nicole joined as well. So those are my shout outs. Let's get into it. Standards, do they decide everything or not? Here it is, family. You fell off, right? You felt it happening, and instead of doing something about it, what did you do? You remained silent. You watched it unfold, right? And I see this story play out time and time and time again. Listen, family, you don't fall off all of a sudden or all at once. It happens in those small moments, right? It's a shortcut here. It's a delay there. It's a standard that you let slide just one time. That's how it starts, right? Then you fall into that trap. Nobody wakes up one day and decides, man, you know what? I just want to lose momentum today. That's not how it happens. They just stop holding the line. So here's the message today. You don't get what you say you want. You get what you consistently accept, family. And most people, they're accepting way less than what they realize. Let that sink in. I drink a thing of water while everybody's filtering in. So today we're talking about standards. Standards. Do they decide everything in your business or not? In your life, in your career, whatever. Let's get into it. So here's my promise. I give you this promise in this episode right here. In this episode, we're getting into the foundation behind everything that we're building here. And it's standards, family. This is the topic of today's topic, right? We're not just talking about what you say your expectations are. I'm talking about what you actually enforce in your life, in your business, whatever. It shows up in both places. Standards. This is where everything either stays elevated or it slowly starts to drop. So by the end of this, you're going to understand three things: why people lose momentum without noticing it, how standards quality control your results, and the system that I'm using to keep my level high no matter what. So here's what I had to learn, family. I see more and more people popping in. So thank you family, for popping in. I see you, Naomi. I see you, Mimi125. I see you, Mary, Nicole, Jenny, and then still 4610 PS, all those, and then my LinkedIn family, my YouTube family is there as well. So here's what I had to learn. Okay, here's what I have to learn. Standards are not set in big moments. That's not the case, family. They are revealed in your small moments. There's a pattern that you need to catch, okay? Most people think that their results are random. They're not. That's not the case. Results are not random. I see you, Latonia. They're not. They're consistent with your standards. If your output is inconsistent, your standards are also inconsistent, family. Do you understand that? If your output is inconsistent, so is going to be your standards. Does that make sense? I'm making sense with everybody. If your focus is slipping, family, your standards also start to slip. That's the connection. Because here's the part that most people miss. Standards drop off all at once. They drift. Standards, they don't drop off all at once. They start to drift, and you allow it to happen. You start making those small exceptions for yourself, for your life. You start telling yourself, man, I just skipped today, right? It's just one day. I just skipped today, right? It's the standard that fell off. You start saying things like, oh, okay, I'll just do it later, right? You tell your friends, your family, you tell yourself, I'll just do it later. Or you may hit somebody with, this one doesn't matter right now. So, it's not as important. So, I do something like that later. That's how it happens, family. Each decision, it feels small in the very moment, right? But over time, it begins to compound. And now you start operating at a lower level. Remember, we're building $1 million business. So standards are part of how we build our $1 million business. If you don't have standards for yourself, you're not going to have standards for your business. And that's real talk. It's going to show up in both ways, in your personal life and in your business life. How can we build $1 million business if you're not setting clear standards for yourself? We do this without even realizing that we've changed. And that's dangerous, family. And this is where your business fails. And this is where you fail. Personally, we're not getting in that corner office. Our checkings and savings is not where it wants to be, only because our standards is not as high as we like. But we start blaming other people for the reason we're not in that room, or the reason we got passed over for the opportunity, or the reason our business is not growing. Family boils down to standards. Now you're trying to fix results without fixing the standards behind them. Man, you're going to fail. So I have to check myself, family. I'm always going to share everything with you, right? I'm building out this $1 million business in public. Hold on, let me see. I got more and more people coming in. Thank you for coming. And I appreciate the love that I'm getting on LinkedIn. I see my Instagram family. Thank you for joining. My TikTok family has been blowing up, man. You guys have been showing me much, much love. My watch hours on YouTube has been blowing up as well. Here's the thing, too. There's so many things, and we'll probably get into this as we're building out this $1 million business, to talk about some of the tools, the marketing tools, some of the automations that you can set up to actually grow your brand, right? Because your brand is part of how you're going to get to your $1 million bag. And right now, I haven't even optimized anything on my YouTube page, my LinkedIn page, my TikTok page. I'm not even getting into optimization yet. I'm just putting out content right now. I just keep putting out content, keep putting out content. And you know what's happening? You guys have been showing up. But here's the thing. I remain super consistent every single day. You can put a clock to when I'm going to drop my content, right? That's that consistency, because I'm training the algorithms to expect to see me every single day at that time before I even get into optimization. Some of you missed that right there. You think in your business, you want to create some type of content for yourself, and you start doing that. I see Shadrick, thanks for popping in. And you start creating content for yourself, but you're not consistent. It's infrequent. Sometimes you skip a day. Sometimes it's not posted at the same time. Sometimes you may go a whole week. Your branding is not the same. All that drives into your visibility and brand growth when you're building out your $1 million playbook, right? So you want to be super consistent, kind of like now. We kicked this thing off January the 11th, 2026. We're not even a good 90 days into this thing, and we're on episode 58 already, right? So when we talk about consistency, we've been super consistent. But here's the thing. Thanks, DJ Ham, for popping in. I have to check myself. When I'm growing this thing, I have to check myself. I had to stop looking at outcomes. What do we mean? I had to start looking at what I was actually allowing. Here's the thing. A lot of us, we allow things to happen to us, and then we blame that thing for happening to us because we allow it to happen. Who are we really mad at? Real talk, who are we really mad at? We're at ourselves. So for me, that shift, it changed everything. Now I'm not asking what standard did I just accept? What standard did I just accept? Not did this work? That's the difference. There's a difference. I see you, family. Thanks for popping in on Instagram. I can't even pronounce your name. Artashami, thank you for popping in, family. That's a different level of awareness. So I started noticing something for me when I started building this thing. What am I letting slide in my life and in my business? That's one thing, right? What was I negotiating with myself? Because oftentimes we start negotiating with ourselves. And when we start negotiating with ourselves, that's when we fall off. I see you, Tiff Ray, and I see you 1000. And I can't even catch it real fast because it popped in so fast. And then where I wasn't holding the line, right? So I started noticing where I was letting things slide for myself and my business, where I was negotiating with myself, and then where I wasn't holding the line. And there's where the drop was happening for me. It was not in the big failures. It was in the small compromises that I kept making every single day. And we start doing this. We compromise. We accept this. We accept that. We accept somebody slicing our DM to take our attention. We accept an email that comes across our desk that affects our work ethic. We stop working out like we used to do because we feel like we need to put our time and energy in our business. We start inconsistently posting. We start accepting requests for people wanting to borrow money, people wanting to steal our time. We start accepting things that we don't normally accept. And then you're wondering, why am I not growing personally? Why am I not growing professionally? Why is my business not growing? Because you've been accepting a lot of shit in your life and you don't want to say no to it. Where's your standard? Where's your line? Where's the cutoff where you say, you know, enough is enough? I need me time. I need to focus on my growth. I need to focus on my professional development. I need to get to my $1 million bag. And this is what's going to separate a lot of people out there from hustling to actually performing and getting the life that they truly say that they want, family. You got to have your standards, right? And I'm speaking to you guys and I'm getting the love, I'm getting the likes and all that. And you're telling me, yay, that makes sense. And you're giving me these hearts and thumbs up and all that crap right there. But after this live, you're going to go back and do the same shit you was doing before. Come on, family. How are we going to get to our $1 million bag? We got to get to our $1 million bag. So I'm trying to give you the framework, the playbook, and everything. Now, notice, I'm consistent, but I have my struggles and my setbacks as well. So when I come here in front of you guys, I know I need to be super consistent, but behind the scenes, I struggle with everyday things that you would struggle in your business as well. My thing is, when somebody hits me up, they DM me or something like that, I make time blocks for things and I respond to those in those time blocks. I don't allow things to derail me from the mission. That's the same way I got into, the boardroom where we sold a $750 million company, because I'm super focused about the outcomes that I want in my life. And sometimes it's going to take that sacrifice, because we talked about that yesterday, and then setting high standards for yourself. And this is going to be what separates you from everybody else. Like, we don't want to play small. That's not it. So, and here's the thing that people understand. The high performers, they don't allow things to slide. They understand that small things become big patterns, family. So let me share with you. I'm going to share with you the system that I put together that I actually follow. I have to lock into a simple structure, and I'm about to share that with you in a minute. Let me see these comments as they come in. I see you, George. Thanks for popping in. I see you, Sarah. I see you, Josh. I see you, Latanya. I see you, Gil. I already said DJ. I see my LinkedIn family. What are we talking about today? What are we doing? We're building out $1 million business, and we're doing it in public. This is episode 58 and week 12 of a 52-week build, right? So we need to be super consistent. Standards decide everything. Do they or do they not? And this is what we're getting into right here. So where am I at? Where are my notes at? Let me get into my notes. Okay. So let me share. I'll share with you the system that I'm using for myself. I have to lock in a simple structure. All right. Maybe you can follow this similar playbook. 3 standards that I don't negotiate. I'm about to share them with you now. Number 1, execution standard. If I'm doing it, meaning it gets done. And maybe, there's no compromise, no delays. No execution. No excuses, no compromises. If I tell myself I'm going to do it, then I absolutely do it. How many people, how many times, maybe in your life, somebody like that, they tell themselves they're going to do something and then they keep delaying it, they push it back, they procrastinate, and then all of a sudden it just sits there and nothing ever happens. Maybe that's you. I don't want to step on anybody's toes, but I used to be like that. So these are the simple things that the tools that I'm putting in my life right here. Execution standard. If I say I'm going to do it, it gets done, period. Number 2 is going to be the focus standard right here. If it doesn't align with where I see myself going, then it doesn't get my attention. What? So you telling me that you don't give certain things attention? Family, you follow me. You probably follow me across these social channels. Y'all know what I respond to and what I don't respond to. You'll see me. Even if you DM me before, you probably never got an answer from me, because at that time, your DM wasn't important for what I'm building, right? That takes standard. Like, what is your standard? You need to respond to everything. You need to be everywhere. You need to be doing everything. Sometimes you need your standards to get to that next level of your growth, right? So focus standard. If it doesn't align with where I see myself going, it doesn't get attention. And I'm not talking about sometimes. I'm talking about every single time. That's standards. That's what we're talking about, standards. Number 3 is going to be behavior standard. How you show up actually matters, family. We're talking about your energy, your clarity, your discipline. All that matters. That stays consistent regardless of what's happening around me. My energy, my clarity, my discipline. How many people have actually met me in public and realized my energy is 100% exactly like it is on this live? And maybe you've never met me in person, but I can guarantee you What you experience on this live is exactly what you experience behind the scenes, because I don't want to fake it through life. I want to be the person that I say I'm going to be, right? And I understand if I don't have standards for myself, I can't get to that next level of my growth. Again, professionally, personally, and business, whatever. So energy, clarity, and discipline, you're always going to find that. Staying consistent regardless, no matter what. That structure, it keeps everything tight for me, right? So I can, maybe knock on wood, if the Lord's will, I'll get blessed, to see another day. Guess what you're going to see tomorrow? You're going to see me back here, noon Central Standard Time, delivering the next message. Why? Because those are the standards, right? That's the structure. Now I'm not reacting to everything. I start operating at a set level. And maybe that's the missing piece that you probably need in your life and in your business to get to the next level right here. So let me land this plane real quick, because I know I'm right here at time. I actually got a few minutes early, but I'm running through this one pretty fast. I just want to say thank you guys for rocking with me. What are we doing? We're building out $1 million business. So I got 2 goals this year. One, to show you how to make $1 million in 12 calendar months. 2 is actually to build out a 50,000 member ecosystem within my newsletter. And if you're just now joining, I'm telling you the importance. You need to own your own audience, family. You always need to own your own audience. We cannot rely on algorithms. We cannot rely on social media to push out our messaging when you're creating brand visibility, when you're creating your business, when you're creating your profiles, whatever that happens to be. But if you own your audience, those people begin to rock with you, right? So create something of value for yourself, whether it's a newsletter, whether it's a website, where you can start collecting people's leads, because that's going to lead to dollars and cents. And your network, it determines your net worth. You've realized that before. Thank you, Natasha. Thanks for popping in. All right. So we're talking about standards right here. So here's what this whole week, this whole build is actually reinforcing for me. And if you haven't tapped into the other episodes, this is just a continuation of those episodes, right? So everything is geared to give you some insights, some framework, some understanding, some knowledge, so you too can get to your $1 million playbook as well, right? So this week is reinforcing for me. Decisions, they create directions, right? We understand that. Execution creates results. Consistency builds momentum. Patience allows things to begin to compound. Focus multiplies everything. Sacrifice protects it, right? And then standards is what sustains everything when you're building out your $1 million business. Here's the thing. Thanks for joining in. Here's the thing. When we talk about $1 million business, when I talk about brands, I look at it as an individual person as a brand. If you're not seeing yourself as a brand, that could probably be the difference between you getting that corner office, you building that business, and you building the life that you're looking for. You are truly a brand, family. You need to understand that, right? People will pay money to have you in their organization. People will pay money to have you speak at their organization. People will pay money to invest in your business when you realize that you're truly a brand, right? So once you realize that you too are a brand, your decisions that you create, it helps your directions. Your execution creates results. Your consistency begins momentum. Your patience allows things to compound. Your focus multiplies the work that you've been doing. Your sacrifices protects it. And then your standards, family, your standards is what sustains everything. That is the difference. Simple as that. Anyone can build something from momentum. You realize that. Thanks for the fire. I appreciate the love. Anyone can build something from momentum, but standards determine whether or not they last or not, family. That's the real game right there. That's the whole game summed up. Standards, family. Don't accept bullshit in your life. If you don't accept bullshit, you won't get bullshit unless you accept it, right? You ever know somebody that's been like in a long-standing relationship? You're like, man, why don't they just get out of that relationship? For whatever reason, during that time in their life, they've accepted that standard. It happens in business as well. You know somebody, they work for an organization, and they've been there years. They've been there years, and then they come home and they complain, man, I hate my job. I hate my boss. I hate this, and I hate that. I hate that. But yeah, you keep going back to the same job, the same boss, the same work, day in, day out. Why? Like you're forced. Here's the thing. A lot of people will set a strategy for themselves. Again, personally, professionally, for your business, you set a strategy for yourself, and you get so tied in with that strategy for yourself that you don't learn how to pivot. You think just because, man, I set a strategy, I failed at my strategy, so it makes me a failure. Guess what? Guess what high-performing people do? They set a strategy and then they learn how to pivot from that strategy as they see it's not working out for them, right? In their life and or their business. That's where it happens. Those are the standards that you have. The standard that you're telling yourself is, you know what, I'm worth more than where I'm at. I believe that I'm more valuable than what people see me bring to the table. And then you start working towards that. And then you start weeding out people that are not aligned with your goals or where you see yourself going. Those are standards, family. That's the real game right there. So here's where we're going to go next. Episode 59, we're probably going to get into the environment, right? We're not just where you work, because a lot of people think your environment is where you work. I'm talking about with what and whom you surround yourself with. And it's either how you're it's either how you're reinforcing your standards or slowly pulling you away from your standards. So that's going to determine where we're going to go. I leave the chat boxes open real quick. They're going to be open. We're streaming across Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, as well as TikTok. So the whole family's in one place. Remember, the comment boxes are open. These episodes, I designed these to give you some insights, some framework, some information, some automation to help you get to your bill. But I also take requests. What does that mean? You may be struggling with something in your business today, whether it's branding, visibility, no matter what it is, pricing, all that good stuff. Drop a comment. Let me know. Slide in my DMs after the fact. If it makes sense, I will write a whole freaking live around it, and we'll have a discussion around it, because if it's impacting you, I can guarantee you it's impacting somebody else as well. So even though I come up with these every single day and I talk about various things, I'm always interested in your input and support as well. There's some things that I'm working on behind the scenes that hopefully in the next week or two, hopefully in the next week, I'll be able to reveal for you. So I'm putting together a branding and visibility playbook that's going to be available hopefully next week. You help me decide on the landing page. We're still working on that behind the scenes. We're doing some click automations and funnels. Those are not ready yet, but when those become available, I'll share those with you as well, because I want to give you the insight, the whole frameworks, all the tools that you too can duplicate and follow to get to your $1 million bag here in 2026. As always, family, thank you for your time. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the support. Invite other like-minded individuals like you to these lives every single day, Monday through Friday, noon Central Standard Time. And then here's the thing. 2 goals, $1 million in revenue. And then the other goal is going to be 50,000 member ecosystem. If you haven't signed up for the newsletter, do that today, not tomorrow. Do that today, because we're building this thing together and I can use your support. Until next time, family, thank you for your time. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the support. We'll get it.